His eyes didn't move when I stepped into the clearing, like he already knew I'd stop right there. The others didn't speak. They just shifted, forming a quiet, loose circle around me. I hadn't said yes. I hadn't said anything, but I didn't step back either. If you've been here before, you already know how this goes. Tap, like, and hit subscribe. It really does help. If this is your first time, you picked a good one. Let's begin the final stretch of trail. Stung a little, but I didn't slow down. My boots gripped the gravel as I climbed, my breath steady. The wind cooled the back of my neck as I crested the ridge. Leaves crunched. Underfoot, then quiet. The overlook opened wide in front of me. Forest rolling endlessly below, golden light brushing the treetops. I thought I'd be alone. I picked this trail because I needed stillness. But I wasn't alone. 3 men were already there. 2 sat on a flat stone near the edge. 1 stood a few feet, off, relaxed, like he'd been waiting a while. None of them looked surprised to see me. The oldest turned first, catching sight of me with a calm glance. "We thought you might want company," he said, voice low and easy. He held out a water bottle, the cap already loose. I hesitated for half a breath, then stepped forward and took it. The water hit the back of my throat and cooled everything down. I didn't ask why they were there. They didn't explain it. Felt like we all already knew. The second man watched me. Quietly, the third kept his gaze on the horizon, like he was tracking something, beyond what we could see. A stone near. The edge caught a bit of light, and one of them motioned. "Sit if you want." I did. The warmth from the sun still lingered on the rock. I sat with my legs turned toward the view, hands resting at my sides, bottle still cool in my grip. The second man moved next. No words, just sat a short distance away, close enough that I noticed, but not too close. The breeze shifted again. I tucked my hair behind my ear, glancing his way. He didn't meet my yes, just kept watching the horizon. "You came up the north trail?" the third man asked. His voice was calm, more observation than question. I nodded, took the switchbacks past the falls. "That's the quiet way," the first man said. Like the quiet, the second man stayed, where he was quiet, steady. When I shifted slightly, he did too, just enough to match. "The rhythm, want a picture?" The third one asked, gesturing toward the overlook. I stood and handed him my phone. He took it, without a word, held it up. I stepped toward the ledge. The second man stood behind me. I adjusted my stance and leaned to the side, brushing dust off my shoulder. "Sun caught your shirt," he said, shaking the edge of the fabric gently before stepping back. The shutter clicked. I glanced at the photo better than I expected. I didn't move right away. The second man stood quietly behind me, no words. Just presence. The first man came closer. Too, he didn't say anything, just offered his hand. It took it calm, steady, like it marked the end of a conversation I hadn't realized we were having. I exhaled slowly only. Then did I notice how fast my heart had been beating. They didn't crowd me. They just adjusted, shifting to stand around me without closing in. Something about the quiet changed, denser, almost like the air before a storm. I studied my footing, the uneven stone beneath me. Suddenly, obvious, one of them moved closer, just enough that I felt it, without needing to look. A brief hand lifted near my side. Didn't touch, then dropped again. No one spoke. No one rushed. It felt like something was about to happen, and we were all waiting for the signal. Even if we didn't know what it was, the second man brushed a leaf off my arm. The gesture was simple. Nothing more. The third stepped close enough that I could feel the shift in air beside me. Only hand lifted, hesitated near my face, then fell back without touching. I didn't flinch. I didn't move away. I didn't even know what I was waiting for, and maybe that's the strange part. I wasn't afraid, the way they stood quiet and steady. It didn't feel like pressure. It felt like possibility. The light shifted again, sun flaring just a little lower in the sky, tilted my head, catching the wind on the back of my neck. One of them murmured, Something too soft to hear. No one moved. No one had to. The stillness held. Something new now. Something unsaid. One hand reached near mine, not grabbing just there. I didn't pull away, and I couldn't tell you if I was about to step forward, or if I was just holding still long enough to decide. But be honest, if you were standing where I was, would you have stayed? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Thanks for watching.